allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, June 13, 2023, the time being 6:30 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg City Council is called to order. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that's available on the table in the back of the room. Amy, would you please call the roll?
Jamie Kane.
Here.
Rick Ensweller.
Here.
Kevin Fleetwood. Diana McKenzie. Here. Daryl Coley.
Here. Kevin did text a little bit ago and said he wasn't going to make it. You all should have received a copy of the minutes from May 9, 2023's public hearing. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, take a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Jamie, seconded by Vieta. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Same for the May 9th regular meeting. Any edits, additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion we approve. Second.
Motion's been made by Jamie, seconded by Daryl. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay. You have in front of you Ordinance 2023-05, which was for the annexation that was last month. There is one small tweak that I'm obligated to tell you about. They added phone numbers to the appendix. So that is all. Any further questions on that? If not, would take a motion to approve 2023-05 as amended.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Jamie.
Second.
Second by Rick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, thank you very much. City Engineer Ron May, you have Ordinance 2023-06, which was the vacation of the alley that was tabled last month by the First Christian Church.
Good evening. As the mayor said, this was on your agenda last month. There were questions that you all had. The church has been asked to send representatives to answer any questions you may have. And so a quick reminder, the alley shown in red there is the one in question. It runs east from Broadway. It is located north of Central Avenue and south of Hendrick Street. The vacation petition is to the first alley that goes to the south to Central Street, the portion between Broadway and that first alley.
Council has requested, there is a representative of the church here this evening to answer some of those questions.
Are we just going to ask the question?
Sure.
That's what I was waiting on.
So I guess what we were wanting to know is if they were planning on blocking off that entrance off Broadway.
No. The main objective is...
Real quickly, could you please, can you please
State your name for the record.
I'm Pastor Steve Friensmeyer, the administrative pastor at the First Christian Church. And our overall goal is, at the Broadway entrance, is actually to widen that, not shut it off. And then to restructure our parking. That's all it is. If we have traffic from various neighbors want to go through, that's totally fine with us. We just want to widen the entryway.
Our main concern was fire trucks and stuff like that still being able to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I gotta ask the question I was gonna ask, so she
I mean,
stole
that
me.
was really all we
I think that was
the
really,
main-
That was the
main
main
thing.
concern.
I mean,
I had,
it's not really a per se alley as it is right now, right? It's just, it's all been paved, it's a parking lot, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was really the only issue that we had.
I think some of the concern was about more traffic being forced west. So it sounds like by restructuring that, there would be an opportunity for more traffic to go east.
Correct.
Okay.
and when services let out, they would be going
Both ways, yes.
both ways. But if that's going to be open, it's really not much of a change, it sounds like to me.
It's easy.
Thank you.
Council, anything else? If not, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Daryl,
Second.
second by Vieta. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That will be the end of the first reading, because we just tabled it last time.
That's correct.
Okay. Can we suspend?
I would recommend that maybe we don't.
I would say, I don't believe so. I mean, I think because it relates to property, I would recommend that we not suspend.
Perfect. If there are any questions that develop in the next month or so, we'll be sure to let you know. I don't know that, do they need to come back next month, council?
I see no reason.
If something changes, we'll let you know. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Amy, you have ordinance 2023-08, which is the additional appropriations as discussed last month for the airport.
Yes, this is for the airport. Just a reminder, they are wanting to purchase a large mowing vehicle. This is in their, I mean, they have plenty of funds, they're covered, so. It just wasn't in time to get in the budget.
Make a motion, we pass 2023-08 on the second reading.
Motion's been made by Jamie,
Second.
second by Rick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Where did John go? Oh, he's back in the corner. Perfect. John Bryant is here with the Veritas Group this evening to give us our update on the Municipal Complex project. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council. Here. All right, again, my name is John Bryan with the Veritas Group, and to give an update this evening on the Municipal Campus project. So it's been a few months since we've last had an update, so now that we've transitioned into the construction phase of the projects, things will look a little bit different in regards to our updates on a monthly basis. At a high level, we'll just plan to hit on site-related items, and then we'll jump into the street department and the fire station project specifically. We'll talk about budget, and then at the end, I'll show you guys just a drone video of that month's progress. Each month will be a different one with the same waypoints, so the video will be the same, but the progress will change, as you guys will see. So we'll go ahead and start here at the top with the site schedule. So as you'll see in these videos, the north building demo has been completed. Topsoil has been stripped across the entire site. And the proof roll was completed, I believe, last week for that. And the good news with the proof roll is that there is not any stabilization that is needed, so no cement or lime as we know of now, unless there is for some reason a big old rain event that came that may change things. But it's looking like there won't be any stabilization that's needed, which is a big win. And then they have begun digging that retention pond as well. Sanitary is expected to begin at the end of the month, so that'll start the utility install. That'll be the first one that goes in due to the depth. And that'll kind of handle things for the site schedule. And then I'll jump into the fire station update as well as the street department update as well. So first with the fire station, the building pad, like I had mentioned earlier, it has been graded and compacted, as you'll see in the drone video, and then they are starting to dig for footers this week, so that's a big milestone, as well as hitting structural steel in July. So now we're looking at structural steel starting in the middle of July. As I've mentioned in months past, Veritas has put out an RFP for furniture through the city's cooperative purchasing agreement with Sourcewell. We did receive those 2 weeks ago. We got 5 respondents. All very competitive on their pricing. I do plan to set up a meeting with Mayor and Mark and Chief to review those and get their feedback. We did see about a 60% discount using the city's Sourcewell discount, so about $120,000 in savings, which is fantastic. And then we'll meet and we'll talk about those here in a few weeks. Moving on to the street department, similar to the fire station, that pad is ready for Runabon. They do plan to mobilize the week of June 26th. So Meyer Najum is out there right now in their trailer, and then Runabon will be out there at the end of this month. And then they will begin foundations the first week of July. So they should be starting foundations and finishing with foundations roughly around the same time. So that handles that for the 2 specific job updates. And then on budget, the project does still remain on budget. Nothing has changed in that sense from the GMP that was set back last August at 19.9. So budget is still on track and on schedule there. I'll go ahead and pull up this drone video. I'm gonna show you guys two real quick. One was from last month before the building demo happened, to give you guys an understanding of kind of the baseline of where we're at now as compared to where we were at last month before they started a lot of the excavation. Let's speed this up here. So as you can see, this still shows the tobacco barn still in place, minimal stripping of the topsoil that occurred here. Silt fence is up. They were working on that demo of that north building, and they would begun laying out for the foundations and the pads here for the street department as well as the fire station project. Let's stop this one here. I'll pull up today. So I took this video today at about 3 o'clock that shows where we're standing right now. So a lot of progress has happened since last month, as you'll see here. Tobacco barn is down, structural steel's on site for Runabom. As you can see, they've begun digging for the retention pond on the west end of the site. You can see a rough outline of where the buildings are gonna sit for both the street department, as you can see here, right here, as well as the fire station project up the road on the east side here. And the soil, again, I mean, it's fairly flat and compacted right now. Minimal water being held on site. And that's Marina's site trailer right there. So again, a lot of progress over the last month. Again, I'll show these on a monthly basis, just so you guys can see each month where we're making progress, and we'll continue to track that as needed. Outside of that, that concludes my update for tonight. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks to the whole team, and lots of great progress being made.
Absolutely.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Up next, Brian Robbins, Director of the Economic Development Corporation, Greensburg, Decatur County. First item on your agenda is the annual tax abatement approval. And our tax abatement committee met 2 weeks ago to sort of go through some of these.
Yep, and I don't know if Jamie wants to take over, but I think you guys all should have gotten an opportunity to check out the CF1s. Again, the CF1 is the annual report from those who have incentives from the city. As part of their contract, they need to report on the updates on the respective projects for which we gave the incentives. I think we only had one that did not submit anything, and that would be the Sinmacky project, the gas station project. So they will lose this year's abatement. They can re-qualify for the next year. The other one, per the abatement committee, that we wish to hold pending a meeting with them is GCOM's abatements, which there are 2 of them, 2018-4 and 2020-10. We'd like to meet with them first before we move forward with that. Other than that, Jamie and Vaya, any comments from the tax?
Our recommendation was to approve them, approve all the renewals except for GCOM and, what was the other one? I'm trying to find
The
it.
Sinmacky.
Sinmacky. So that was a recommendation from the tax abatement committee.
Did the one that had not made payment yet?
Yes, they did make payment.
What was the Sinmacky one, do you know?
That's submit.
They did not submit.
Right, but do we need to not approve it, or does it just?
Well, there's nothing to approve. There was no submittal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not on the list here, is it? I don't believe. I'm looking through the folder. It's not even in here.
No, there's no in the folder because
Yeah.
they submitted up.
So the only 2 in the folder that we're recommending to not approve at this point in time are the 2020-10 from GCOM and the 2018-4 from GCOM. We're waiting on further information,
Yeah.
basically.
And that doesn't mean we disapprove them, it's just we want to meet with them and see where they stand with those projects.
Would entertain a motion to table 2018-4 and 2020-10.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Jamie, second by Daryl. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Would entertain a motion to approve the remaining submitted request.
So moved. Do we need to list them all, or is,
Four. As long as the, I was gonna say, as presented, I think is sufficient.
as presented? Okay. Make that motion, as presented.
Motion's been made by Jamie,
Second.
seconded by Rick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I have one question on that. Since they didn't submit, is there a process for that? Is there any kind of legal obligation that we need to, are they gonna be sent a letter? Are they gonna-
We're sent a letter, right?
Yeah, I had contacted them, and I think one of the issues was the property was sold. But I contacted the seller to get in touch with the buyer, and did that, but the buyer has not submitted anything. They could come back in later and present a waiver of non-compliance in retrospect, but that would be up for you guys to approve or disapprove. But right now, they would just miss out on the, I guess it'd be the 23 paid 24 year, and they can reapply for the next year for a
The
contract.
question was, they're aware of that.
Yeah, I can send them something if you guys wish me to. On behalf of the city can do it, but really it's kind of on them. It's their portion of our contract. We've done, what our portion of the contract says. It's up to them.
Okay, the next thing on here, I think is a unique opportunity. It's a partnership with Main Street that you've been instrumental in helping, and Rose, who's the director of Main Street, is here as well. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, as the mayor mentioned, this has been a kind of a project probably years in the making, addressing a dilapidated building downtown, one that's been condemned. I think last year was when it needed to be condemned. It's the building on, it's 132 North Franklin Street, and it's something that needed to be addressed rather quickly because it fell in disrepair. I can give you a little bit of a background on it. It has not been open for commerce or anything since, I believe, 2013. We've had various people go through the building, the property, none of which acted on any sort of interest on wanting to develop it. It was determined to be a public safety hazard due to deterioration, and again, something that we needed to preserve if possible, so it wouldn't wind up as a, say, a Taylor Hotel, something that was forced to take down and might even affect the buildings next to it. With that in mind, it was somewhat of a serendipitous opportunity in 2021 with the READY program coming, and with funds available. Not only that, but we actually had a local developer, willing to take it on if the city was willing to help. With that, we were able to develop what's called the Preserve Main Street project for the READY funding. And in this project, essentially what we're doing is leveraging ARPA dollars from the city to not only revamp and repair that building and leverage development dollars there, but also leverage READY dollars to help finish off the two sides of the downtown. So essentially with this investment that is being requested from the ARPA dollars, we are, attracting a total investment of $3 million into our downtown. So, and saving a historic building, a key historic building actually that was built by Colonel John Wilder of Wilder fame. So something that has been very important to us. The advantages of entering into an agreement with the developer from the city side is that it ensures that the structural improvements will be made to code. We can, the city will have oversight on what the city's funds are going to, on which they're going to be spent, and that is the structural improvements to the building. First and foremost, this will bring the building back on the tax roll, and make sure that the remaining buildings, or the adjoining buildings, aren't going to be damaged, and keep what they call, keep from having a gap tooth in your street facade there. Also, one of the specifications in the agreement is that the first floor stay commercial, so we won't have any ground level apartments or anything like that. It'll stay commercial, and that the second floor will be turned into apartments, so we'll have more living spaces downtown. By entering into that agreement with the developer, the city can designate those two uses of the building. And then I mentioned that because we're able to do this agreement with the developer, we're leveraging and we're using these as our matching funds to leverage an extra $2.5 million total in downtown streetscape funds to help finish off the final two pieces of the downtown. So with this overall project, we're, again, I want to stress we're saving a historic building, but also finishing off our downtown. So anything from the mayor or Rose? We have Rose Connolly from Main Street.
I think two things. One, the ARPA dollars are the COVID federal dollars that we have and have been working towards reinvesting. So that's an important emphasis that it's federal dollars that we're maximizing. And the other item is that the request is to grant the funds to Main Street, and then Main Street would be responsible for administering the grants, reviewing construction, reviewing that they're meeting the requirements. The agreement is between the developer, Main Street, and the city, because the city funds are going to Main Street.
To Main Street. And the owner has the current owners have agreed to sign over the building to Main Street. So Main Street will be the key organization in this, not the EDC.
Kind of the timeline we're looking at?
I think it said in there I'm trying to think of the full term. Obviously, as far as the structural improvements, if that's what you're talking about, they will be done immediately. As far as how fast this can get going, we've already drawn up the transfer papers as well, and title search and that sort of thing. So we're dealing with some I guess, side issues with what's left in there and how to get that out. But as soon as this passes here, I can tell you the developer's ready to go and get that building up, because it shouldn't probably sit there any longer. As far as the overall project, the full development, I think that there was a timeline in the agreement, but I think that'll be determined by what bids are entertained by the developer.
And I would say that there are kind of several different timelines. There's some design timelines, there's some overall project timelines, but the most immediate concern is addressing the structural, and that is a relatively quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Council, any questions for Rose or Brian? Chris did draft the full-blown legal agreement document. We did meet with the developer's attorney. We went through all that, so I think we are at final version part, some very minimal details.
You're just looking for a motion to approve the private-public partnership agreement?
Would be great, please.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Jamie,
Second.
second by Vieta. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Rose. Thanks, Brian, for all the work to do that. Amy, closure of a bank account.
Yeah, so when we began the project here at City Hall, this was in 2020, before my time, they opened a separate bank account at Napoleon State Bank. We have finished the project here. We have about $29 left in that bank account, and I just need green light to close that bank account. And then that money we're still looking into where that money needs to be moved. It can either be moved into the rainy day or the general account, but that $29 will just be moved into one of those two.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Daryl.
Second.
Second by Rick. All those in favor signify by saying
Do we need to determine where it's going on that motion?
Yeah, exactly. I think we have to go back and read the bond paperwork to see where it's supposed to go.
Okay.
and it'll go wherever that says
Spend
it
more time
goes.
reading it than the money we're gonna get back out of it,
Yep.
but, okay.
Motion's been made and second, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, Ron, 2023-06, amendment to the Redevelopment Commission.
Good evening again. The Redevelopment Commission for probably 6 months has been working on updating their project list. That's an activity that occurs periodically. To that end, they have arrived upon what they would like to have their new project list be. They have, with Chris's assistance, drafted a resolution that amends the plan for the Redevelopment Commission. Specifically, the resolution provides a new project list. The new project list has added 2 or 3 projects, removed 3 or 4 that have been completed. It's simply an updating of where they want to work next. They did in their meeting last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, they did approve the resolution. They passed it along to council. They passed it along to the Plan Commission, and last month the Plan Commission gave a favorable recommendation. It now comes before you, and to put words in Chris's mouth, I don't think it's absolutely necessary that you act on this, but it seemed to be a good faith effort to be open and transparent.
I was, yes, to expand on that a bit, statutorily, in order to amend the project plan, it's not specifically required that it be brought before the council for any formal action. The next step in the statute will be that it returns back to the Plan Commission with a favorable, or the Redevelopment Commission with the favorable recommendation, and there's a public hearing followed by a final vote on the determination of the project plan. However, historically, and as we did this the last time we did this in 2014, it has always been the Redevelopment Commission's intention of transparency to bring it back and just formally advise you all on the council that this is what the intended project plan is going to be. That way you know what's going on, and if you have any, comments, concerns, or things you wish to raise, you can certainly do so, and they can be communicated to the Redevelopment Commission through Mr. Bennett.
Darrell serves on the Redevelopment Commission, and also Ken Dornich, who is here tonight. If you care to have any questions, you can direct them at them.
So I don't believe that there is a formal motion necessary unless you wanted to do a motion of confidence in the plan as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve confidence in resolution 2023-06 as presented from the Redevelopment Commission.
Motion's been made
Second.
by Jamie, second by Vieta. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
I'm sure the Redevelopment Commission thanks you.
Yeah, thanks. I do want, Ron's comment about, I want to make note and probably need to reflect it in the minutes, that Ordinance 2023-05, which was the annexation, did come with a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission. So I think we should probably just document that in the notes, but it doesn't change anything. Resolution 2023-07 is the annual reporting requirements for the Redevelopment Commission. They're the June 15th letters, as they are often called. Those are in your packet. Again, it doesn't require you, but I am required to notify you that you have been notified. Next up, we have an opening on the Plan Commission. That is the council appointment. This came mid-month last month, I think, and Ken Dornich, who serves on the BZA, has volunteered to serve in that role if you would be willing to reappoint him. I think that would be a great fit. He's already here those evenings, and he's willing to do that.
Make a motion to, a motion to appoint Ken Dornick.
Second.
Motion's been made by Darrell, second by Jamie. All those in favor signify. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Perfect.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
thanks, Ken. Welcome aboard another committee.
You wanted to get that through before you changed your mind.
That's right.
Final sort of updates here. Yodel calendar, I mentioned at the Board of Works meeting. It is a free public calendar that we are working to consolidate all of the events across the city. It does allow for different organizations and end users to put in the events and maintain them and update them. It is free for them to do so. It is also available for individuals in the community to look at and use for free. They don't have to create an account. If they do, it does allow them to more tailor the events that they see and get notices about changes. I think it is something that has been widely discussed for years about where is that one point of information. It always comes down to the labor to maintain it. So this way it really becomes on the different organizations for them to put information in there. We did host some in-person trainings and information sessions here at City Hall, and then we did some virtual. It was very well attended. The Stellar team is tackling that. It will be sort of fully live and open, and it's going to be heavily promoted this Saturday at the Friends of Fred Food Truck Festival, which is downtown. Starts at 5. The band starts at 5. Food starts at 5. Honda is bringing some Indy cars. They're also bringing their semi-trailer that has the race simulator experience in it. So they're going to be there. We will have a band as well, and we encourage everyone to come out downtown on Saturday. It's been widely anticipated, so hopefully we have great weather and another great turnout. We have the inclusion.
Saturday.
I'm sorry?
What was the date on that?
It's this Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
Yep.
I thought that's what.
5 to 10's food, band is 5 to 9. And the Inclusion Park ribbon cutting is coming up July 6th, 10 a.m. It is at Rebecca Park. I know it's during the work week and work day. We're trying to slide it in before they get too far along. They are making great progress with it. Brendan Bridges has done a great job of getting that off the ground and lots of community help and donations. So if you can join us, please do. And then, of course, I think they're shooting for a later this year ribbon cutting as well. So it'll be quick turnaround. Items are being delivered. And then this Thursday at 6 p.m. on Wilder Street, we are hosting the second community cookout. Fire, police, EMS will all be there, so please come out and join us if you can. That will be from 6 to 8. It is the second one of the year, and it is the last one until August because of the fair. So we won't have one in July, but we will have National Night Out in August. So be sure to come out and participate in that. Again, that's this Thursday at 6. And then my final thing before we get to updates, I want to publicly thank the water department team for their work on Wednesday night, 30 plus hours of work for them, and they did a great job and worked to bring us back online as quick as possible. I don't know that there's always a lot known about what they're doing out there or working overnight, but I was texting with Superintendent Denny at midnight and 3 and 4 and 5 and 7, and they did a great job, so many kudos to them in making sure that that gets brought back online as quick as possible. So, okay. Any questions or anything on those? Jamie, you want to do an update from Board of Works?
We had the same update that we got tonight on the project for the street department and the fire station. We approved street closures for the 4th of July parade. We approved, not really street closures, but we approved a route for, what was it, Caleb's Cause 5K that's going to be going on during the fall festival. It may interrupt some road, it's not really closures, but slowdowns. We approved road closures for the fair parade on July 16th. We approved the standard operating procedures for the police department. We opened bids for the Dodge Charger, and then we tabled that to take them under advisement. We had an appeal for basically a grass violation that we did not approve. However, it is going to come back at some point in time and ask the council to revise or look at the ordinance. Right now, maybe a first-time offense, it goes on their record basically for 3 years, and then at a second offense, I think it states that we wouldn't even have to notify them. We could go out and just mow the yard and send them a bill for it on a second offense. If it's a first-time offense, then maybe what we do is we could take a look at what we do, but probably gonna have to look at that ordinance, and maybe it only stays on for 12 months, and then, you know, unless it's somebody that we've submitted a letter to multiple times before. But I think the intent of that was to get habitual offenders, not those people that, you know, it's one time here or there. So that's just something we're gonna have to look at. Mark came and gave a summary on heavy trash. I think we were under 100 tons down in waste this year from last year. So significant, all-around success for Heavy Trash Day with some of the changes that we made in it. We did take bids. We have opened up bids for the CCMG matching grant. There was one bid. We basically approved it once, if the bid's approved, basically once they've gone through and reviewed the entire bid package. Zeke came in and just asked for all kinds of money. He wanted to replace a couple pumps and a lift station repair. And then we approved a contract with Burke for stormwater and MS4. And then Mayor Marsh presented a HVAC preventative maintenance plan for the City Hall building here that we agreed to for an annual fee. And then talked about the Yodel community calendar. That's it.
Any questions for Jamie? Rick?
Main Source, or Main Street, received 2 grants, one for training and one for the farmer's market. Farmer's market's going well. They had 9 vendors first week. June 21st will be the 4th Friday. From 6 to 8, there'll be a band, Brothers McGee. There'll be vendors, food trucks, and a car show at that. And Mayor touched on Freddie's food trucks.
Kevin's update was that the Planning Commission sent you 2 favorable recommendations, so check. Vita? Solid waste?
Nothing really to report.
That seems fair. Okay. Scholarship, we did offer an applicant our annual scholarship. I hope they've been notified. I assume they would have by now. But okay. Darrell, Redevelopment Commission?
Not really a whole lot. The RDC property marketing program, we did enter into a 6-month contract with Lee and Associates to market the properties that we have along Veterans Way. The resolution 2023-06 that we spoke about earlier was passed, and let's see, update on the multi-use path over State Road 3. The contracts were submitted, and that was for the study, and were given to the city attorney, and he approved those, or didn't see anything wrong with them. And then the update on the residential development project. The plat, primary plat, was to be studied by the Planning Commission last month, and that was withdrawn from the agenda. At the time of the meeting, we didn't know exactly why. Mr. May, do you know anything else on that?
I know nothing further.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'm going to skip sort of down to the end. EMA, we continue to sort of meet with our solar eclipse team. That's sort of under that a little bit, and we continue to make progress on that. For the water board, HNTB is going to do some study work for us on the south water tower that's right here in front of City Hall. That is archaic, and so what's the options for repair, replace, reconstruct, move? So they're doing study work for the water board to sort of figure out what the plan is for that. It is heavily coated in lead paint on the outside, so any type of work that's done to it involves extensive removal and dealing with that. So we're going to try to get a better understanding of where that process is. Does that seem fair, Rick?
Correct.
Perfect. Airport is making progress. If you haven't been out by there, there's a lot going on. Dave Romero is making great progress. They're on track for a late fall opening. We've talked with BF&S about what that looks like. We're trying to get some details put together. We'll be sure to let you know when the intended ribbon cutting and completion of that is, but it is well underway. Do you want to talk about insurance committee, where we are, or do you want me to do that?
Last meeting, so
so I don't.
Oh, you weren't, okay, yeah. So our insurance committee has been continually meeting monthly. Our last one in June was sort of an opportunity for the representatives from all the departments to bring feedback and ideas from their department. Our next step is we are waiting sort of on the projected numbers from the insurance company about what the 2024 insurance cost will look like. We don't get those numbers until late in the fall, so as we build the budget book, we sort of do it off of an estimate. That the book is currently being built, and we will see what that looks like. I will probably try to meet with a couple of you, maybe one-on-one, about options and what we could see going forward, and then sort of what that committee determined. Lindsay Job, who's on the Board of Works, is also a family nurse practitioner, so she has been on that committee and have been a tremendous asset to that as well. So we've been making progress, and once we get some numbers back, we'll have more decisions to make on that as well. But we've been meeting monthly to try to keep them engaged and bring ideas to the table. Any questions? If not, motion to adjourn.
Yes, one thought, have we thought about like budget sessions coming up? So that'll be,
Yep, I imagine that will be late July. We have to wait on June 30 numbers so that they go in the column on the book that shows where we are sort of year to date. I have almost everyone's Form 1s, which are the request for budgets, back. So every department gets their Form 1, they fill that out, we send it off to committee, they put it in the book, we look at the numbers, we tweak it, then we have our first one. So I imagine that will be late July, hopefully again. Make sense? Fair?
just asking.
Yep. I'm gonna be out a little bit of late July, so we'll work on that, but we'll get it. Okay. Motion has been made already to adjourn by Jamie. Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, everyone.